Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first podcast. Woohoo! We are your hosts.
I'm Annie.
And I'm Mary. We are the Adoption Squad.
Yep, we are.
We are.
On this podcast, we really hope that our stories, we're both adopted, and we hope that our stories can serve as an example or be useful to others who are also adopted.
Mm-hmm. So we're kind of hoping that we can connect with other people who have been through an adoption search, or maybe know of somebody who's been through one, or even part of an adoption process. Basically, it's an open forum for everyone. And because both of us have completed an adoption search, I guess we want to get out the message that to expect the unexpected where that's concerned, because it's never going to go exactly the way you think it will.
Lots of twists and turns in our stories. Yeah. And I felt very prepared. Strangely enough, even though there are so many twists and turns, I felt prepared before I went on the search. And part of what helped me was a book called Journey of the Adopted Self, A Quest for Wholeness by Betty Jean Lifton. You can go to our website. We'll have a link there to this book. Just really helped me center myself before I went on my search.
Yeah, so we do plan to cover a broad spectrum of topics, including the perspectives of adoptees, guardians, parents, siblings, everybody involved. We're kind of hoping that we can keep it a little light, but we know that this topic, we could go on forever and ever and ever. The two of us have been brainstorming for the past couple of months, putting this together. We have not yet exhausted a list of topics that we can cover, so we think that we can do this for quite a while, and we're kind of hoping that we can.
Yeah, families being families and being, infinite fodder for stories. Mm-hmm. This could go on forever.
Right.
So, I think we should describe who we are a little bit and how we met. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, as I recall, at least my side of the story, we met through mutual friends, and they introduced us, and I think that one of them said, "Oh, the two of you have adoption in common." And then from that point on, I think the rest of the time we were there, we just kind of
spilled our guts.
Yeah, and just kind of went, oh my gosh. And it was all of these twists and turns in our own stories. And then I know I got your phone number that night.
Yeah. And on reflection, I thought the weirdest thing about this was that we are not youngsters, but, it just kind of marks you a little bit. Like, adoption is something that you are, you are adopted. So when other people learn that you're adopted, she just said, "Hey, you're adopted, talk amongst yourselves." And we did. But I was like, isn't that funny? Because we're not kids, right. that here's something you have in common. Mm-hmm. It was odd, but also exactly what I needed to meet someone with a story similar to mine, but quite different at the same time. And so meeting you, Mary, was fun and traumatizing.
Yeah.
All at once.
Well, because it does bring up all of these things that you might not have thought about before, or right. Something that you said I can relate to. Right. And a lot of my friends growing up, my closest friends, couldn't relate because they just didn't really get it. So it's been very nice connecting with you at a later point in life where we can really just kind of take a step back and go, this is everything I've been through.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And I guess we should say that we have gone through the process of finding our biological parents. We've reached that end point, and there's still so much to discover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, about siblings and other family members since you didn't grow up with them. It's a constant process of discovery. I mean, last night I met somebody who knew my brother back in the day before I had even known my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I could get information about my brother from this complete stranger to me, but it was really fascinating to see my brother through this other person's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow.
Yeah. So we've stayed in contact throughout the last couple of years because we only met a few years ago, and we would see each other fairly casually, or we would have certain events that we would both go to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized a couple of months ago, I hadn't spoken to you for quite a while. We tried a Zoom call months ago that went terribly, and then we just ended up talking on the phone. And then I feel like I've discovered podcasts during the pandemic. It's been something I do all the time now, and I'm discovering new podcasts all the time. And I just kept thinking, you know what, if I were to actually put something together, first of all, who would want to hear me talk for more than a couple of minutes at a time? I typically don't want to hear myself, but what topic could I cover and actually be an expert in, or at least have some familiarity with? And then I thought about it and went, oh, yeah, adoption, of course. So I initially approached somebody else about this because I wasn't really sure if you'd be interested.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, she's family. She lives pretty far away. And I went, well, wait a minute. And I was really, really hoping you'd be on board with this. So during that phone call, I was super nervous to bring it up.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You were nervous, but, I think adoption strangely brought us together, and I think you did mention that, you wanted to be able to write your life story. You realized you were never going to do that.
Right.
So let's just talk it out. And yeah, let's do that, because I don't want to sit in a room by myself and write my story and go through it again. I'd rather just sort of talk it out and share it on a broader platform so that, I'm going to make people laugh at times, going to make people cry at times. But mainly, I just want to share the experience as a guide, as we already said, to other people who are searching, and hear about other people's stories too.
Yeah. So after you said yes, it was okay. Now it's just time to get to work. And I kept thinking, okay, what are we going to call this thing? Because that's part of the appeal of a podcast, is if you have a good name, other people, will be attracted to it. And I thought, well, just like with our friendship, a squad is basically a group of people that have the same interests at heart. And so that's just kind of where that came from. And I was, again, so happy that you were on board, because I feel like a lot of people out there probably have things that they would like to talk about but never have because others can't relate. And so hopefully with this squad of people, we can, find a place for others to kind of come together. But we do agree on one thing. We wanted to leave out identifying information.
Right.
We are not here to ruin anybody's lives. We don't really even want to let people know our last names because that would give too much away. So that might be something that people don't love, but it's just the way we're going to go about doing this for now. So,
right. No, I think we have to respect privacy of other people's stories who we might be including here, other family members. They don't necessarily need to be identified. That's just our plan for now. All right.
And hopefully, anybody who decides to share a story, if you want to remain completely anonymous, that is absolutely fine. That's kind of our goal, is just to bring people together and share, but not to uproot anybody's lives, respecting the decisions people made and support that.
Right. So, Mary, where can people ask questions, share parts of their stories?
So we do have a social media presence out there, but the best place to go is definitely our website. You can find us on theadoptionsquad.com, and there you will find the links to our social media pages and also to our email. Our email is theadoptionsquad@gmail.com, and you can submit your stories there.
Okay. Well, I think we've loosely laid out our loose plan for this, adoption squad. But I do want to say that the one thing I really like about the name of squad is the idea of having people who have your back, people who will understand what you're going through. And that's been something that, as an adopted person, struggling to even find my own identity has been part of my journey. So I like the idea that we're forming a squad.
I like it too. So on the next episode, we will discuss how our searches happened and address the number one question people ask adoptees.
Right. That number one question. Maybe you can guess what it is. We won't tell you now.
Just to leave you hanging, of course.
Yep.
So watch for new episodes to drop each Wednesday, wherever you like to listen to podcasts.
Word to your mothers.
And to your fathers.